Alrighty, folks, just when we thought Windows 11 couldn't get any worse, it now has. Let's get into it. Alrighty, folks, so if you aren't aware, a few other tech tubers have been doing videos about this, about Windows releasing some new AI agent stuff into Windows 11 with some upcoming updates, or I'm not sure if it's entirely out now, but they are at least going to be rolling them out very soon. In the newest updates and everything. But folks like Chris Titus has done videos on this, but this is the article that came out from Windows Central just a few days ago. Let's take a look at it. So it says, Microsoft has issued an urgent warning to Windows 11 users. The new agentic OS features that allow AI agents to operate also open the door to malware. I think Windows is legitimately trying to become like the machine world from the Matrix. They want to implement all this AI stuff. Honestly, I don't know about you guys, but the moment we were toying with the idea of AI anything, we really opened Pandora's box to the point to where we can never close it again. With ChatGPT and Midjourney and all this AI word generation or art generation, and now AI software stuff, and it's just like we've unleashed a monster we can no longer control anymore. Put in a word prompt and how do I complete this math problem? It's way past that now. They're now offering, like this says in this article, or they're now creating agents that are going to basically automate your entire computing system. Microsoft has issued important warnings about its upcoming agentic AI capabilities that are coming soon to Windows 11. In a new support document, the company warns that users should only enable this feature if you understand the security implications. Does anybody understand the security implications of something like this? The average user, which is what I would imagine 95% of Windows users, don't. 95% of Windows users and everything are simply using it for like office work, or emailing, or basic simple tasks. A lot of some people are using it for strictly for gaming or music production. Some of you said in the comments on my last few videos. Everyone kind of has their kind of specific use case for Windows, and like I said, majority of people are just kind of casual users that are just like, I need to do office work, I need to do this, I need to do that. Like, they're not super tech savvy in the sense where they can look at the source code of Windows and be able to decipher what all that's a very, very small amount of people that can be able to look at that stuff and actually understand it. The fact that they're rolling this out and then saying, if you don't fully understand computer code and everything, don't enable this. And I'm like, then why even implement it in the first place? And has confirmed that because of the potential dangers, it will be off by default. If that doesn't just scream, then why put it out in the first place? I don't know what will. Honestly, if you are that concerned, if Windows or Microsoft itself is that concerned about rolling out this specific quote unquote update to Windows 11 to add this little feature, if they're that concerned, don't roll it out. If you're that concerned for the average user, even if you know what you're doing, behind the scenes of Windows and everything, and you're still worried about it, don't roll it out. I don't see the reasoning behind this. And as it goes on, for months, Microsoft has teased that Windows 11 will slowly evolve into an agentic OS, which may dismay users online. Still, the company has pushed ahead with its visions, and now we're at a point where the first truly agentic capabilities are launching on the platform. Windows 11 was bad enough with Copilot, and yes, a lot of people have reminded me in my comments that you can turn it off. You can turn off OneDrive and this and that and everything, and that's great. I'm glad that we're able to do that, but at the same time, it's like, I'm a tech guy. I love technology. I love messing with computers, and I love seeing the advancement of things and such, but at some point, we got to stop and question ourselves, just like Jeff Goldblum did in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
I think that phrase really sums it up. It's like, yes, we could do this, but do we understand the implications of this if we do roll it out? Or if we do create this thing? It's almost... it's like taking that phrase from Jurassic Park, melding it with the Terminator philosophy of creating an AI that then turns and then somehow becomes self-aware and then turns on us, and then that eventually becomes what is the Matrix. It's just I really feel like we're at the extreme beginning stages of all this, and we really need to pump the brakes and be like, hold on a second. Could this get out of our hands? Could this get away from us? I know this is a very small pool of examples, but it just seems like AI is, and everyone, and all these, tech corporations and stuff like NVIDIA, AMD, and Microsoft, and Meta, and Amazon, and everything are just trying to push AI so hard that it's like, hold on, guy. We really need to look at the potential dangers of this instead of just continuously pushing forward, because these are all billionaires and maybe even some trillionaires that are pushing this so hard to gain even, because they want to be the first in the market of this. And if this whole AI thing blows up in the sense of, becoming a huge moneymaker, I mean, they're just going to get even more rich. But at the same time, it's like they're creating all this stuff to sell it. I don't fully think that they really understand the harmful implications of this if it develops too far and ends up becoming more of a problem and something that we cannot back away from. I may sound like a conspiracy theorist, let me go get my tinfoil hat or something, but honestly, like, we're living in the beginnings of this reality of, like, Terminator and the Matrix and everything. Like, we're seriously at the very, beginning baby steps of this. Give it 20, 30 years, and we'll see what happens. But, like, for the average user, I would seriously consider not wanting to be a part of this. Like, I certainly don't want to be a part of this. I want nothing to do with AI. All this AI stuff is just, I think it's going way too fast. People are not kind of putting in those checks and balances of making sure that we have control over it. They're just like, the first little thing of AI came out. I think it was ChatGPT or something or whatever. And then we started doing AI art, and now AI software programming, and then AI video was had its beginning stages, and now it's hardly discernible from real video. I mean, the stuff it's just going so fast. It's only within the last 2 or 3 years or so since AI has really become prevalent in our everyday life that, most people can't tell, like, an AI video from a normal video. And it's scary to see that, like, how fast it's grown. And this with Windows implementing something like this, I would strongly encourage you, if you're not a fan of this or you don't want anything to do with this, I would highly encourage you not to update your system, to keep it as is before this feature rolls out officially. And if you can, please, I highly encourage you to look into Linux, because Linux has nothing like this. They're not rolling anything out like that. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Windows is no longer making operating systems for, it's no longer the home PC anymore. It is now a data collection piece of hardware that is now going to gain sentience and then turn on you and start reporting all your stuff. I mean, oh my gosh, I don't want to get too far into this, but, like, seriously, like, this could really be the beginnings of a horrible dystopian future of technology becoming sentient. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but this is literally the beginning stages of it. So I would highly encourage you to, if you're still on Windows 10, for the love of God, stay there. If you're on Windows 11 already, I would keep your system as is right now, so that way you don't receive the update with this feature updated in the upcoming updates. And if you have the ability to switch to Linux, like if you're using Windows for simple like office stuff or word processing, internet browsing and stuff like that, you can do all that on Linux. Look up the software that you use on a regular basis and check to see if it works on Linux. If it does, great. If not, see if there's some form of alternatives that you can use. And if there isn't any and you're just forced to stick with Windows, check out stuff like Chris Titus. His YouTube channel, he's got a great tool to turn off all this stuff, and I think him and his team are going to be working on, he's going to probably revamp his tool, that way he can roll it out for people that want to turn that feature off as well. So I think it would behoove all of us to become more self-aware of the technology that we're using. Become more familiar with your technology and what's coming into it and what's going out of it. You don't have to become some type of software engineer or a coding genius to know that. There's just a few things we need to kind of be more cognizant of and be more mindful of, what's going on. We're well past the times of just being blasé, of just, well, this is my computer, I do some work on it, I turn it off, it's no big deal. It's just a tool to be used. It seriously is, especially with Windows 11 and these new updates, it is now becoming a weapon being used against you. And I know a lot of people have said that since like Windows XP and like Windows 7 and 8 and stuff. But honestly, it's legitimately a weapon now. So again, folks, I say, don't sit idly by and comply. Take control of your technology and be aware of what's going on.